Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Morning.
So I'm going to be stepping through how I make the Choco Rummy honey cake, and it's been named. It has the tagline of 5772 because that's when Suze Peters and I came up with the recipe. We took a couple different recipes off the internet, and I think I'm forgetting the name of I didn't put it down on here, but we modified things. I think the version of the recipe I sent to the shul, it probably has the origins of the recipe on that paper, but we changed the spices around and we came up with this recipe that year. So the first thing we need to do now is preheat our oven to 350. And so I go through a process of mixing the dry ingredients, and then I cream the eggs with the brown sugar, and then add the rest of the wet ingredients to that mixture, and then I combine the dry ingredients, adding them into the wet ingredients. So I have my 3½ cups of flour. My favorite brand is this King Arthur flour, and I use all-purpose for this recipe.
Cindy, you didn't say in your recipe whether you sift. Do you sift the flour?
I don't.
Okay.
This is, but what I like about the
Can you grab these 4 things and walk them?
unbleached. I like the fact it's unbleached. It doesn't say pre-sifted, so I'm not sure, but I have never sifted it.
I like you a lot.
All right, so we have 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt.
You use kosher salt or use regular table salt?
I'm using well, actually the rabbi has on his counter a giant thing of Himalayan sea salt. I put it in this container, but that's actually what I'm using.
Is that the pink? The
Yeah,
pink?
Yeah, the pink.
Okay.
Yes, from Costco. And then 1/2 teaspoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves, and 4 teaspoons of cinnamon.
Whoa. Somebody's phone is ringing.
What was it, 4 teaspoons of cinnamon?
Of cinnamon.
Ground cinnamon.
Ground cinnamon. And I like the, it's either called Vietnamese or Saigon cinnamon. I find it doesn't have the bitterness of other cinnamons. So in combining all these, I'm mixing them in this large measuring cup. It's easier to pour into my wet ingredients, so I use this large measuring cup instead of a bowl.
Is that four cups?
This is a 4-cup bowl.
Oh, okay. I got one. I have one of those. Yeah.
Cindy, that was 4 teaspoons of cinnamon?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't print out your recipe. I apologize.
No problem. Well, after thoroughly mixing the dry ingredients, I'll set this aside. I will put these. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cream together the eggs and the brown sugar. Now, if you don't have a mixer like this, you can do it by hand in a bowl. So here's my 1.5 cups of packed brown sugar. I like dark brown. And 3 eggs, and I checked the yolks for blood spots before putting them in here. And I used the paddle
Beater. Yeah, beater.
on the mixer.
Mhm. So you beat it like a minute?
Just until it's well blended and all looks the same everywhere inside the bowl.
Okay.
Okay, so then it might go out of order from the ingredients here, but it doesn't really matter. So now but I do have to find the amounts for you. 1/4 cup of rum. So at the shul, I had been using Bacardi's Clear. This year, I found that this rum was also on the approved list of the CRC, so I am using.
I didn't have that on here.
It says colorless on the.
No, I mean I don't have the pardon?
It's right underneath the orange juice. It's on the,
end of the list. I'm going a little out of order just because how.
Oh, it says cup of chocolate chips.
Oh,
I didn't get all of that. Yeah, it's kind of not there. Okay, 1 cup of chocolate chip. Let me get that on that side. And what was the ingredients on that that you're doing right now, Cindy?
This is the rum. I'm using
Rum. How much?
I'm using dark rum instead of the clear for a change this year. 1/4 cup.
1/4 cup. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that.
Cindy, you're creaming the eggs and sugar and then adding the rum?
Yeah, then I add all the wet ingredients, yes.
Okay.
So so you're doing the vegetable oil and the honey too, or is that later?
Oh, it's all coming.
Okay.
So the vegetable oil
Uh-huh. 1
is a
cup.
cup.
All right.
it's
What is
interesting.
going in there? Okay.
4 much oil is my original recipe. I've been gradually increasing it, but it's quite a bit more. It adds the moisture.
I'm going to start mixing now so that it doesn't slop too much. Okay. And then I'm adding a cup of coffee, and not scalding hot, but it can be warm or room temperature.
Tempered. Mm-hmm.
This year I'm using Via. I made a cup of instant Via. I used 1 little packet because that's what the directions said.
That's Starbucks, right?
Yeah, that's Starbucks. Other years I've used the Instant Elite, and for that I used a tablespoon of the granules in 1 cup of warm water. Okay. 1/2 cup of orange juice. I use this type from Trader Joe's, the fresh squeezed orange juice. And now I'm also going to add the honey. Now my trick with the honey, when I measure it out into like when I'm not doing a kitchen demo, I don't necessarily put everything in bowls, but I'll pour the oil in first, and then with the measuring cup that's wet with the oil, I'll then add my honey to that to help the honey come out easier. This has been poured a while ago, so I'm hoping it comes out of the glass container. I did line it with oil. I did rub it with oil. Try to
That
get
is a brilliant idea
That's
that
clever.
I've never thought of.
but it's been a while, so it might not. I still need to scrape because I did this ahead of time.
But just in general, that is a great idea.
I'm glad you liked it.
Come.
That was a cup of honey, and now I'm adding a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now, many times in the Sinai kitchen, when we're pouring as we go, I'll hold the teaspoon over the bowl and I'll on purpose have a little accident and pour a little extra vanilla in there because it's so yummy.
Excuse
There's
me.
nothing more flavor.
I think that's so cute.
And I'll say, oops. So now I have my dry ingredients, and I'm going to add them a little at a time to my wet ingredients.
That's about all I can get out of there.
Cindy,
Yeah?
it's Lynn. How much brown sugar? I'm looking at the recipe.
One
I
and a
can't
half,
find it.
1.5 cups.
It's under the honey.
Oh, okay. I think mine got. Oh yeah, mine got cut off. 1.5 cups of honey. I mean, brown sugar. 1.5
Brown
cups
sugar, yeah, packed.
brown sugar. Okay, thank
It
you.
says dark, D-A-R-K, dark brown sugar.
Right. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I like the dark, actually.
There we go.
By adding the flour in 3 different stages, I'm just trying to keep the flour from poofing out of the bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Having too much in there at a time.
Okay. Finally, officially used up all the honey. No.
Yes, dear. Okay.
So now I'm going to scrape around the edges of the bowl to get all the flour on the edges incorporated. And I also dig down deep inside to make sure there's no honey pooled at the bottom.
Jeez. Looking for something and it's right in front of me. Oh yeah.
Glad you found it.
Welcome to the crowd.
Damn. A twit. And a twit.
Okay, so ahead of time, I prepared 2 loaf pans. So I sprayed it with non-stick cooking spray, and then I put some flour in, and I kind of went like this with the pan, and
Around.
got the flour to go all around this part of the sides and the bottom, and then dumped out any extra flour. So now the pan, you see, has a dusting of flour attached to the oil. This would be another nice pan to use to make a honey cake because it's more decorative. And then this one's probably not big enough for the whole batch, so I would supplement with a smaller size one of these. So, but you can also use an angel food cake pan. And then what's good is the center isn't, you don't have to worry about the center being raw because of the tube in the middle.
How much does it rise?
It rises quite a bit.
It does, okay.
Yeah.
What does an angel food cake pan look like?
I have a small one.
It's got a tube that separates. The person asked, what does an angel food pan look like? And it has the tube that separates.
So this small
okay.
one, like I would use a 10-inch for this recipe, but this goes inside to give the same tube in the middle.
Okay.
So one trick I learned over the years is I add the chocolate chips after I pour into the pans.
Oh,
The
right.
chocolate chips just fall to the bottom. So if you mix it all the way in with the mixer, then they end up at the bottom of all the pans. So I'm going to put this into my cake pans now.
Very smart. Thank you for that idea, Cindy.
Sure. I'm double checking, making sure everything off the bottom is mixed in.
Cindy, does it freeze well?
They freeze great. All the ones at the shoal, I've made them a couple weeks ahead, and I've frozen them, and they've even lasted until Sukkot if they weren't eaten up by then. Okay, so each pan, I don't know if you can see into the pan. I don't want to tip it too much. It's not that full, it's halfway or so. So I'm putting these in the middle, on the middle rack of the oven.
Did you already add the chocolate chips?
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. I was waiting to watch how you stirred when it was already in the pan.
Thank you. So here's the chocolate chips. This is my favorite brand of carved chocolate chips. I get them from Whole Foods. It's called Equal Exchange Chocolate. Textured
Say that
oat
again?
milk.
Oh, sorry.
Equal Exchange
Oh,
Chocolate.
equal exchange. Okay, thank you.
Semi-sweet chocolate chips. Hextured, I don't know how to describe the hexture. Sweet K, the Q at the top and an I underneath, and they're carved. So I did a taste test a while ago, and I like these the best. There's a lot of chocolate chips are hextured dairy, so I like having my my cakes carved so I can eat them with meat or with dairy. So I'm not looking at I pre-measured out my chocolate chips. I sprinkle them along the top. Try to evenly distribute them.
So you don't stir them in, you just let them sink by themselves while they're baking, is that it?
I will pat them down just a little bit under the surface,
Uh-huh,
but I don't stir them all the way in so they don't sink.
uh-huh, okay.
Because they'll sink a little bit, so then they,
Well, you want them to be cut, you don't want them to be just melting on top, so of course you want them to sink, yeah.
yeah, but I just don't want them to all clump at the bottom.
Right. It's such an interesting technique.
So this is what I've been stirring with the whole time. I just pat on them until they get moistened on the top.
Cindy, if you were using a bundt pan where
Yes.
the top is the bottom and the bottom is the top, would you deal with the chocolate chips any differently?
Maybe I would stir half of them into the batter and then do this same technique with the rest. Okay, so I'm going to show you the difference between the ones that I've patted down and the ones I haven't. So these are the ones so far. See how they're just laying on top? If I tilt it too much, let me see if I can tilt this maybe. See how they're laying on top before I pat on them?
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, they look more like that. See them near the top, but they're mostly coated in batter. now. I will put them in the oven. According to the sheet here, it says that for the 9 by 13 sheet pans, I should, the two 12 by 6 inch loaf pans, that they should bake very close to an hour. So I'm going to set my timer for 45 minutes so that I can check them and make sure that they're not overcooked, but most likely it will take the 55 to 60 minutes.
Any different for a 9 by 13, Cindy?
Yes, I'll read those in a sec.
Okay, thanks.
So for 9 by 13, it's 60 to 70 minutes. And it really depends how hot your oven is, so I can't give exact cooking times. But I check it with a, not just a toothpick, I like these.
The little wires.
These are wooden sandwich picks.
Ah,
So they're bigger than a toothpick.
okay.
So I have not done the, with the magic of television, having cakes ready. So I'm cooking live. So they're not, so this is the end of the demo, I would say.
Oh, great. Thank you so much.